Hello, friends. Whoa. There's one where I don't know where it is in space. It's fine. I had an idea and I wanted to film before I forgot about it. So I have 3 series I want to finish, and I thought it'd be fun to film it because I've been watching a lot of Meg with books recently, and she's done all these fun series. I think she calls it a series wipeout, and they're so satisfying and fun to watch. So I want to do it. So I just got from my library the audiobook of Kingdom of the Feared, I think the 3rd Carrie Maniscalco book is, and this trilogy is not my favorite thing in the world. I've given both of the books 3 stars, but I'm still intrigued enough to want to finish the trilogy. And they're a little ridiculous, but that's okay. So I have that one. I have the All of Us Villains sequel that just came out. It's like All of Our Demises or something. That audiobook is on hold right now, and I should get it soon. I own that book, but it's at home right now. And I was trying to think of another one so I could have 3, because 3 is a satisfying number. And I was like, maybe I'll do Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, which is the sequel to King of Scars, but there's no audiobook for that. So it would take me forever because I don't have hardly any time. I hardly have any time to read physically, as I've said a lot recently. And then I was like, oh, okay, maybe not. Then I was like, I could do Bands of Mourning, which is the 3rd second era Mistborn book by Brandon Sanderson, which used to be a trilogy, but now there's a 4th book coming out in November. So I was like, okay, that's cheating. I can't really do that. But I finally remembered that I want to read Redeemer, I think it's called, by Jordan Ifueko. So I think that's going to be my 3rd one, because that is also a duology. The first book I liked. It was mostly just not for me. I think it was a personal thing. The world, I just was but it was still interesting. I probably will have to try and find a book summary for book 1 before I jump in the book 2, because I remember nothing. But yeah, so I think that's going to be my lineup. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I'll update you when I start any of these books. Good morning, everyone. I just started my first, or I didn't just start it, but yesterday I started my first book for this video, and I can't remember if I did an introduction to my feelings on any of these series or anything. So let's just do that really quick, because I started Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco yesterday. And so the first 2 books were both not 5 stars, golly, both 3 stars for me. I love the vibes. Sorry, I'm in a parking lot and there's people walking around. I love the vibes. I love a lot of the ideas, but her plots in both book 1 and 2 are just not good. I don't remember a ton about the first book. I'd have to go look at my Goodreads review. I can post it on the screen right here. But I just remembered that I liked the vibes, but I wanted more to happen. And then in the second book, nothing happened. I was just talking with a friend of mine from my publishing group, and we both agreed that Amelia basically just runs around and gets nothing, looking for clues, but nothing actually gets done. And also, these books are marketed as YA, and they are not YA. There is a lot of sexy times happening in these books. I'm like, why are you marketing these as YA? They're not. Yeah, so keep that in mind. But basically, this series is about this girl named Amelia in Italy. I think she's supposed to be in Italy, but it's all magical. There's witches and demons and such. And her twin gets murdered. And so that's the catalyst of the series. She gets in, there's the 7 deadly sins, and she summons one to help her. I read the first book a couple years ago, so I don't remember exactly all the inciting incident. But in the second book, she ends up in the underworld realm. And then in this 3rd book, she's still there, and there's been a lot of twists and turns. So I won't go into the spoilers. I do a lot, I feel at this point, Amelia has always kind of had like villain undertones, which I really like because I feel like a lot of authors don't go there, you know? Like, I feel like she can be pretty nasty, which I kind of like. Because, like I said, not a lot of authors like really go there. They kind of make, which I mean, anyway, so I'm enjoying that. But I know this last book will probably be 3 stars also. Like, I definitely want to see the series through because I'm interested in what's, like, I want to know what's going to happen. But also, like, I know everyone loses their goddamn mind over Wrath, who is the love interest, but, like, I don't care. Like, their romance just doesn't really grip me. Like, the smutty scenes are fun, but, like, I just don't, like, I feel like they don't have, like, a romantic connection, if that makes any sense. Like, we don't see them, like, interact all that much romantically. Like, they don't do a lot of, like, I don't feel like they're friends. I guess that's the best way to put it. Like, I get that they, like, think each other is hot, but I've not felt like they have a friendship, if that makes any sense. And I am, like, I need that. I need that. That's my favorite part of a romance, is, like, that aspect. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's a good fun time. Like, I still recommend this series. It's a lot. Oh, let me unplug my phone. It's a lot of fun. So that's my thoughts on that. I think the next book I'm going to read is All of Our Demise, or it's like All of Us Villains and All of Our Demise, or I forget. That's the sequel and conclusion to All of Us Villains. All of Us Villains surprised me. I really enjoyed that one. Everybody is upset because it's not dark enough and it's like supposed to be advertised as super dark. And I get where people are coming from because all the main characters are supposed to be like villains, and they're not. They're not really. Like, it's like, yeah, everyone's gonna be killing each other left and right, and that's not what's happening. Like, I get why people are a little mad about that, but I didn't really care that much because I'm like, yeah, it's a book. They're not all these people are main characters. They're not gonna die. So I can kind of suspend my disbelief a little bit because there's also a lot of moments where it's like, I want to kill you, but I can't right now for this stupid reason that's just a plot device. But I really enjoyed the first one. I love Alistair. Him and Gavin, I think it's Gavin, don't get together in the second book, I'm quitting. But that's literally my enjoyment of the second book is going to hinge on that. So that's that. And then the other duology I'm finishing is Redemptor. I forget what the first book is called. By Jordan Ifueko, I think her name is. I read the first book in 2020, so it's been a couple years. I remember absolutely nothing. So, but I don't feel like rereading it, so I'm going to read a plot summary and then hop into book 2. So yeah, that's my little update. My copy of the audiobook of Kingdom of the Feared is due in like 5 days, and I don't listen to audiobooks on the weekend because I'm not working. So I'm going to have to finish that in the next like few days. So I will update you when that happens. Bye. Oh boy. Hello. I had my latest COVID booster shot of like, it's midnight and I had it at 6. And my arm hurts like a bitch. And I don't know if I'm just cold or if I'm getting chills from like the shot, because my best friend like felt ill for 2 days after the booster shot, and I really am not trying to have that energy because I have like a busy weekend and I'm working tomorrow, and I was trying to get it on a Friday just in case I felt sick, so I wouldn't have to work feeling sick. And anyway, this is too many details. I just wanted to share. I wanted to complain. I'm here because I finished Kingdom of the Feared today, and it was fine. Just as I thought it would be. It was fine. I don't know, like, I want to keep this vlog kind of unspoilery, so I liked a lot of elements of it. I liked a lot of the twists and turns. I liked where Amelia's storyline went, and I feel like, you know, Carrie Maniscalco intended that from the beginning, and there was like this whole complete arc, like with, you know, her identity, I guess is what I'll say. And I really liked all that. And that's pretty much it. It like, and I still like the vibes. I still liked a lot of the ideas, but y'all just watch Lucifer, the TV show. Like, it has, I mean, I guess the vibes are different because Lucifer is modern and this is not modern, but I mean, I feel like there's a lot of similar ideas going on that Lucifer just does better. Sorry, hate to say it. I don't know. I felt like this book was all exposition. Like, I feel like all three of the books are all just exposition and nothing else. Like, there was no real action in this third book. There was, like, no character moments. Also, oh my god, this book is not YA. Like, I looked it up just to make sure on Goodreads, like, in the genre. Okay, now I'm getting a little warm. Is it chills? Am I just warm? Oh my god, I don't know, but my arm hurts so bad. And I did it on my right arm because I got my flu shot in my left arm, and it still hurts. And I feel like that was a mistake. I feel like I should have just compounded the hurt. I checked the Goodreads genre section just to make sure, and it is listed as for young readers, and dear God, it is not for young readers. There's so much explicit content in this book. If I'd picked this up as a middle schooler, and granted, I was a pretty sheltered middle schooler, but still, I would have been scandalized. So much sex. So much. And, like, I'm like genuinely frustrated at why the book is marketed the way it is. Just age up the characters and make it adult. Like, why? Anyway, was there anything else I wanted to talk about? I don't know. I just feel like it's the same thing with the second book. Like, just so much convenience, so much, like, I was talking about it with my publishing friend, and she was like, I feel like Amelia, this was about the second one, but I think it can apply to the third one too. Like, Amelia just goes around collecting clues, and that's the whole book. And that was the same for the third book. Also, the, like, climax of the whole series is resolved immediately. Like, it wasn't a big thing. And just so much confusing explanations and too much exposition. It made me confused. I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I'm just going to go because this clip is already 5 minutes. It's probably just me complaining about the COVID shot. But yeah, it's like a solid 3 stars. I really hope the other 2 books for this video are a bit better. But I'm still glad I finished the trilogy. I'm glad I know what happens. I don't know if I will be picking up Carrie Maniscalco's next series. Whatever it may be. Nothing's been announced or anything like that, but... And I also don't care about stalking Jack the Ripper. Anyway, I'm very tired, so I'm going to go to bed. Good night. All right, joining me in the laundry pile. I just filmed a clip here, so this might be familiar. But I wanted to update you guys on all of our demises. I'm way further than this. I just don't feel like updating it because whenever I listen to an audiobook, I always like to go back and skim a little bit because I miss shit, you know? I miss shit when I'm listening sometimes, and I like to double check myself. But I just wanted to do a quick update on how I'm feeling about this book. First of all, this audiobook is 18 hours. Like, how the fuck? I guess it's because the font is really small. Like, yeah, that does look really small. But I'm like, how did you get an 18-hour audiobook from this? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I get that it's like, I guess, 460 pages. I'm literally here. Like, listen, All of Us Villains was very enjoyable, and I enjoyed it. But at this point, I'm reading this book to make sure that Gavin and Alistair end up together. And if they don't, I will be giving this book 1 star. Now, that's dramatic. I will be very disappointed if some shit gets pulled and we get queer baited, because the amount of sexual tension between those two, if we get the rug pulled out from under us and it's like, nope, they're going to be in a hetero relationship, I'm gonna throw hands. So far, I am enjoying it. There's a lot of interesting things going on. Gavin and Alistair are hanging out together right now. Thank God. But I truly don't care about the other characters. I truly don't give a shit. They're off doing other shit, and every time I'm listening to one of their chapters, I'm like, I do not care. I don't know if that makes me a terrible person, but you know what? I'm reading the book, and I can have my own reasons for that. But yeah, if they end up together, this will be like a 4-star read. If they don't, I take everything personally. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but if my favorite characters in books don't, if I'm not satisfied with whatever happens to them, your book gets rated lower. I'm sorry. Like, I take it all personally. Oh, I suck. Yeah, I just want to do a quick update. I will probably, the audiobook is due in 8 days, so I will finish this week. I don't know if I've shown you guys my physical copy yet. It is pretty cool. Like, there's nothing fancy on the dust jacket, but, like, love this. Fantastic. Like, that is so fun. And yeah. Anyway, I'll check in later. Hello, I'm here to do a quick all of our demises. I never remember what that book is called because it's a weird title. But I'm here to do an update because I'm loving it. I am obsessed with Alistair and Gavin. I'm obsessed with them. I really don't give a fuck about any of the other characters. Like, so I don't know how much I explained in the beginning of the video. Oh, I know I explained a little bit of it, but there are all these champions kind of competing in this Hunger Games like tournament, and in this second book they've kind of figured out a way to perhaps break the tournament so like not everybody has to die, because and unlike the Hunger Games where like the government basically wants them to die, in these books it's like a magical mumbo jumbo thing going on where it's like, in order for this tournament to end, there can only be one victor. In this one, they've kind of figured out that there might be a way to break like the curse or whatever and make it so that they can all live. But like, and I don't want to go into a lot of spoilers, but they've kind of like split into 2 different like teams or whatever, I guess. Like Gavin and Alistair at the beginning of the book like just aren't really buying that the curse can be broken this way. So everybody else is trying to like end the curse, and Alistair and Gavin are doing their own thing. I'm not going to spoil what's going on and what their motivations are exactly, but because that's all spoilery. But while I think that, so the other characters are Bryony, Finley, and Isabel, and Bryony and Isabel have POVs, but Finley doesn't. And Reed is another character that's around. And like Reed and Isabel have a little thing going on, and Finley and Bryony have like a little thing going on. And I do find it entertaining, and I think this book is really well paced in the way that they're trying to stop the curse. Like, it is entertaining and there is interesting stuff going on, and I think all the ideas in this book are really interesting, and it's a pretty long book, and like a lot is happening. Like, there's a lot of moving parts that I find all very entertaining. But I literally don't give a shit about Isabel and Bryony's chapters. Like, I do think they're good characters, but I just don't care. Like, it's like I'm getting a lot of that joy like I had more so as a younger reader. Like, for example, I literally read City of Bones, like the Shadowhunter books for Simon Lewis. I didn't care about anybody else. That's not exactly true, but I was there for Simon Lewis, and that's kind of what I feel like with this book. Like, I know theoretically, if I wanted to be critical, when I get to the end of this book, I would probably rate it like 4 stars because I just was not invested in Isabel and Bryony's stuff, Ooh, my hair's looking kind of lit in this light. This is so nice. But depending on how it ends and what's going to happen, I will definitely be rating this 5 stars if the Alistair Gavin ending is something satisfactory and good, because so far it has just been like the pacing of like the relationship, the depth of their characters, just the way like it's all being laid out. It's so good. I feel like, honestly, I completely understand why, because again, I haven't heard a ton about All of Us Villains on booktube or like in the book community, but I get why some people might not necessarily like it because they want it to be darker than it is. And I feel that way about this book a little bit as well. Like, it is dark, but it's YA dark, you know what I mean? But I feel like if you go in knowing that, you will get a lot of enjoyment out of these books. I feel like they're a little underrated. Just the way they're written is good. It's good. As a writer, I admire how they have plotted and paced this book. I'm like, it's really impressive, I think. It could also be because I'm horrible at plot, so I'm like, wow, so good. But yeah, I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. Like, I knew I was going to, like, give it, like, a solid 4-star, at least, because I enjoyed the first book, but I'm eating Alistair and Gavin's romance up. Like, oh my god, it is so good. So I'm, like, 3/4 of the way through. I'm like, the audiobook is 19 hours. I'm like, how the fuck is this book so long? It is, I think they tried to make it look a little smaller for those YA shelves, but it is like a 500-page book, and the margins and the font are both like really small. I'll show you guys on the physical copy later, but it is deceptively long. Like, I also have the Poppy War checked out in I'm trying to switch to Libby because Overdrive is being discontinued because the same company owns Libby and Overdrive. So I'm trying to get used to it. So in my Libby app, it says that Poppy War is also 19 hours. And I'm like, how is this book the same length as the Poppy War? Like, that doesn't make any flipping sense. But I have like 5 hours left, and I listen on 1.75 speed. So many booktubers listen on like 2 or 3, and I'm like, oh my god, y'all. I've listened on 1.75 for as long, like, for years and years. Any faster, especially with fantasy reads, and I get all befuddled. So I don't know how to math that. So I guess if it was 2 times speed, it would be 2.5 hours. So I guess maybe 3 hours it'll take me. I think I can do it today. I think I can do it. So I'll update y'all when I finish. I'm pumped. It's so good. Anyway, I'll check in later. Ooh. Will I ever not be in pajamas and a clip? This is like a dress, the shirt I have on right now. My friend got it for me from a thrift shop because Hugh Jackman's name is on it. I actually saw him on this tour. I have a shirt that fits me from this tour, but it's a black shirt, not a white shirt. So let's back up some more. I've done it. I finished All of Our Demise, which is a really weird title. I don't like it. It doesn't really make sense, and it's hard to say. So that's the tea. But I do like the cover a lot. I know I already showed you this, but let's look at it again. Let's look at it again. Ooh, so pretty. So pretty. So I haven't actually, so after I listen to like an audiobook, I like to go back into a physical version, whether I own the book or get it from the library, and just kind of check, because I'm kind of particular. I want to make sure like I didn't miss anything, because you inevitably miss more. I think, at least for me, I miss more listening to an audiobook than I do reading physically. So I like to go back and kind of skim a little bit. So I still have like this much of the book to skim, but I don't feel like doing that right now. I'll do it either right before I go to bed, which will be in 10 minutes, or tomorrow. I don't know. But yeah, debating between a 4 and a 5. I think I'm going to do 4.5, but do I round it up? I think so. I think so. Alistair and Gavin, Kings. I really don't give a shit about Bryony and Isabel. So that's why it's not like a perfect book for me. But like, I don't know, guys. Thinking about a lot of my favorite books over the years, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but I am a huge character person. I feel like there are 3 main things that people talk about on BookTube or about books in general, and it's plot, characters, writing. And I mean, also there's like world building and structure and stuff, but like main enjoyment. And for me, it goes writing, plot, characters. Like, the writing can be shit if the characters are good. And by writing, I mean language, because obviously you need to be able to write well to make good characters. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. For me, it's characters, 100%. It's like characters all the way up here and everything else. Which is weird that I didn't like the Atlas 6 that much. I just read that, and that's like characters 101, but I guess that's an exception to my rule. Also, yes, I know, that I didn't like the Atlas 6 that much. Anyway, I'm really getting off topic and I need to go to bed. So let's actually speak about this book. So I already gave most of my thoughts. I really enjoyed this. I think this duology is underrated. I think there's a lot to be gained from it. I do think, I don't know, because that, like I've said a couple times, I get why people want this series to be adult. Like, I get that people want it to go there. I totally understand, like, the gripes of people being like, this is supposed to be dark and villainous, and yet it's the YA version of that, and that can be frustrating. I totally get that. But I personally think it kind of works because the whole point is that they're kids. Again, like a Hunger Games vibe, like they're kids being forced to do this. And I think that made it more meaningful the way the authors wanted to tell this story. I'm really impressed, honestly, by the storytelling. Just the way that this book, especially the first one was a little messier, but this one especially laid everything out, and this one felt a lot more believable than the first one. Again, I mentioned the first one in another video I did recently, but there was a lot of situations where it was like, oh, I could kill you right now, but I can't because of this dumb, stupid plot reason that's just convenient to the book. But in this one, it felt a little bit more realistic because, I mean, this isn't really a spoiler alert. In this one, they're working to stay alive. They're not exactly trying to kill each other. So I kind of was like on board more. I kind of believed their motivations a bit more, except for Reed. I didn't understand what the fuck Reed was doing in this entire book. I feel like he kind of, I'm not going to spoil it, so I won't go into any more details, but he kind of like, the way his character arc went was strange, but they did a lot of other stuff right in here, so I can't fault them too much. But yeah, I just honestly didn't care about Bryony and Isabel, but that's a personal thing. I still think their stories were done really well. But yeah, anyway, I'm a huge character person, so if I like the characters and if I really, really like a character and I have a favorite character and they get a good, you know, romance or like relationships I'm satisfied with, that usually is what ends up becoming a favorite book. Like, looking behind me at my favorite bookshelf, I mean, let's be real, guys. I mean, I have a literal shrine pretty much to Cassandra Clare. She makes up my entire first shelf over there of books. Let's be honest. She's not that good, guys. I mean, she is, but she isn't. You know, like, come on, reread City of Bones. Like, is it good? But do I love it? Yes, for Simon Lewis. So, I don't know. I feel like I gotta go with what I know and love, and that is the characters. So I think I am gonna do the big 5-0. 5-0. The big 5-star. It's not 50. I think I'm going to do 5 stars just because I was weak over Alistair and Gavin. I thought their relationship was so good. So yeah, I'm quite satisfied. I'm quite satisfied, honestly. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I feel like I need to look more into, you know, these authors. I've actually read one book by Amanda Foody. It was called like The Daughter of the Burning City or something. I read it like my freshman year of college, so what is that, like 6 years ago? I remember liking it. I think that was a solid 4-star read. I like that it was a standalone. I don't really remember much about it. I remember, sorry, we're really getting off topic, but I don't care. We've done that a lot. I remember there's a Demi character in it, which I was pumped about because, but it was like for 1 minute. He was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about kissing. And then they were kissing. And I was like, huh? I don't know if that's, I mean, I guess how it works is how anyone experiences it, but I guess that's just not my experience. But I do, that aside, I do think I want to check out more by Amanda Foody. These two authors are going to have another duology together. She has a trilogy that I was looking at on Goodreads that looks really good. She's writing like a million books, Amanda Foody. Christine Lim Herman, she wrote The Devouring Grey, which I'm not really interested in. And then she just wrote another, I think, magical realism book with lesbians, or I shouldn't say lesbians, I don't know if they're lesbians, sapphic romance. And yeah, I'm excited. And the other trilogy, the other duology that they're doing together does not look as interesting to me as this one, but I will still definitely look into it, like when release dates and covers and stuff get announced, because this was good, man. This was good. I'm sorry I didn't check in more about it, but I feel like I've more than made up for it in this long clip. So I just have one more clip for this video, or book for this video, sorry. Redemptor by Jordan Fueco. I probably won't read that one for a little while because I have a lot of books I got to get through in the library right now that are due. So that might not be for a couple weeks, but we will return back to this video when we're ready. And I'm just gonna sit on the victory of this book for a while. So I need to get ready for bed. As always, I either film these in the morning when I should be getting ready for work, or at night when I should be in bed, going to bed for work tomorrow. It's a perpetual cycle. So good night, everybody. Hello. Ooh, we got your little banglies.
Just so everybody knows, I am the #1 pig racer.
That's true. So I love Chandler Ainsley on YouTube, and her husband always do Crumbl Cookie reviews. So I'm making John do a Crumbl Cookie review with me, because usually when we go, we only get like a cookie for each of us. But this week, the flavors looked very exciting. Also, actually, we should do this at home because you can see people in the background.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be back. Okay, now we're in my neighborhood. All right, so these are our cookies. What did we get?
Chocolate sprinkle.
Chocolate sprinkle.
White cranberry.
What is this one? Maple?
Maple cinnamon sugar.
And caramel.
Salted caramel.
Cheesecake. Let's get, do you have any napkins? No.
Maple cinnamon roll. We were right.
Oh wait, your Popeyes probably has a napkin. All right. What do you want to try first?
I think I'll do the chocolate sprinkle.
These are huge.
They are very big.
I feel like they're bigger than usual. Ooh, this one's warm.
Ooh, that's a good
Oh,
sign.
my dad's leaving.
Bye, Rob.
Goodbye, Father.
Oh, me first?
Here, I'll try a different one. I'll try the cranberry one.
Honestly, this is better than I thought it would be.
This is my shit.
I thought it was just going to be like
But this won't be for everybody.
a chocolate cookie with sprinkles on it. And I mean, that's what it is. But it's a lot better than I was expecting.
I feel like if you like white chocolate, you like this.
Oh, Lord.
You probably won't.
All right, let's
Here.
switch.
That one's nice and thick, though. Oh, that's like moist. That's good.
This is actually really good. I like this.
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
I don't know if I'm gonna like the maple. Oh god, I got chocolate on my Band-Aid. Oh, that one is so melty. Okay.
Okay.
This one is ginormous. This one looks like a cheddar biscuit.
This one's very flaky. But I do really like the icing. This is a solid cookie.
That's also really good. I'm taking 2 bites.
Okay.
I feel like Chandler and her husband are always like, the density of the dough.
Oh.
And I don't know if I have the same vocabulary.
I wasn't expecting this to be cold.
That one's iced, not iced. That's what I'm looking for.
Chilled?
Or chilled.
Yeah, I like this one too. All these were really good this week.
Well, we usually don't get. Ooh, the frosting is like whipped creamy.
Yeah. I'm not normally a fan of like the salted caramel, but this was tasty.
Okay. Rank them.
I think I'm gonna go. I don't know. I think I might do cranberry, maple, chocolate, salted
Cranberry?
caramel. I really like the
That's
cranberry.
shocking. You usually don't like cranberry.
I don't.
You have chocolate. Cranberry, you said cranberry, maple,
Chocolate.
chocolate, caramel?
Mm.
I think mine is cranberry, caramel, maple chocolate.
That's fair. That's solid.
Because chocolate's just a chocolate cookie. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, that's fair.
But when I'm going to Crumbl, I want like the elaborate shit.
Yeah. I want the shit I don't want to be able to make at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we can make that. The rest of these, no fucking clue.
Good shit, Crumbl.
Anyway,
except for the chocolate sprinkle.
But that
do
was
better.
That was your second.
Get more creative. Get more creative.
You liked that one more than me.
It's a good cookie. But get more creative.
I'm holding out hope for peppermint this winter.
And get fucking peppermint.
This was like the Thanksgiving.
Peppermint cookies. You heard it here, Crumbl. Do it. Do it!
Okay. Sup. It's late as always. Sorry, this shirt is humongous. I am finally reading Redemptor by Jordan Ifueko. So it's been a long time since I read the first one. I think I read the first one 2 years ago, and I remember nothing. Pretty much. I tried to read like a recap on it, and it wasn't that detailed. So I kind of got like some things. I was like, oh yeah, cool. But actually, this book has been pretty good about recapping. Like, I feel like I'm less confused than I thought I would be, especially because this world is super unique and a little bit confusing. But I think that's a me thing. Like, Cal, I was reading the acknowledgements to see if there was more information about, like, where she, is drawing from for the culture for this fantasy world. And holy crap, Raybearer took her 12 years to write. She said, Raybearer took me 12 years, but I had to write Redemptor, the first sequel I've ever attempted, in 9 months during a period of brutal depression, a global pandemic that killed millions, the hastily rescheduled release of my first novel, and the largest black civil rights movement to date in world history, abutted with violent state retaliation. Girl, how did you write, like, how did you do it? Like, damn. You're impressive. You are super impressive. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic. I think the confusion is more on my end and not like the book's end. And just also me forgetting a lot of the world building in the first book. So this is my fault. But anyway, I'm less confused than I thought I would be, which is good. And even the stuff I am confused about, I feel like I can kind of just like put it in the back of my head and like continue reading. And a lot of it is like being explained. But like, okay, I'm about 100 pages in. I thought this book was about, oh my gosh, I literally was listening to the audiobook all day. What is the main character's name? Terasai. I think that's how they say it in the audiobook. I will correct myself later if I'm wrong. Terasai has to go to, I thought she was going to the underworld in this book. Like, that's what I thought the big setup was, and I was all excited. And now she's like, yeah, I'm not going for 2 years. And I'm like, wait a minute. Again, this was probably my fault. But it even says, like, in the synopsis that she's going to the underworld. And, like, I'm 100 pages in, and we're, like, 2 years. Like, clearly she's not going. So, like, what are we doing instead? Like, it is still interesting. Like, she's just kind of being a ruler and, like, dealing with stuff. And I feel like we're getting a lot. Like, I also reread my Goodreads review for the first book. And one of the things I was upset about was the main character, the magic system this book is very unique. This is very creative. There's a lot of ideas I feel like I haven't read in any other series. So that is super cool. But I feel like, so she has all of these council siblings, and they're all like connected, and they're like have this very strong bond with one another, and can like speak in each other's minds and like feel very strongly for one another. And one of my big problems with the first book is I felt like we literally didn't see them the entire book. Like, and she was like, oh my god, these are my besties, and then like we didn't even see them. And I was like, okay, how can I believe that y'all are besties if I don't even see your relationship? I feel like we're seeing it way more in this book, like just their overall relationship, and that is dope. I'm really enjoying that. I'm enjoying a lot of the conversation so far about like she doesn't want to be a mother, but without too many spoilers, like she kind of needs to have a kid. Like she's kind of being pressured by society. And then like her best friend is Ace, which peace, same. And he's like, what? He's like, both of them are kind of, again, without spoiling, they're kind of like the same level. So like one of them needs to have a kid. And he's like, well, I don't want to do the thing you do to get kids. And she's like, well, I don't want to be a mom. So I don't know. So those conversations have been interesting so far. And yeah, I think I am enjoying it a bit more than the first one, which is what I was hoping for. And we'll see. I am kind of disappointed that the plot is not going the way I want it to, but we'll see. I'm curious to see what Jordan Flecko does next. I know I obviously haven't finished the book, so I haven't even finished what she's already done. But I looked on Goodreads, obviously, to look at my review, and there's nothing coming next. So this was published in 2021. So I'm hoping she does another book, because this is just, I don't think anything I've ever read. Very interesting. Anyway, okay, this was way too long. I need to go to bed. Good night. Hello, everyone. I have some squishmallows behind me. I'm at my fiance's apartment. I don't know why I'm speaking quietly. He's asleep, but he's in the other room, so I think it's fine. So me and Elodie are going to tell you about Redemptor, because I just finished it. Well, I finished the audiobook last night, but this book was a little confusing for me, so I went back and kind of like skimmed over and like reread some sections. I think this is going to be another 3.5 stars. This has been the year of 3.5 stars. Elodie, I'm going to use you as a... There's a dumpling squishmallow. Use you as a... Oh no. One fell. Oh god. She's stuck. There we go. We're really attached to all of them. This one has a little headband. So anyway. I liked this. I liked it more than the first one, which is why I think I'm going to give it 3.5 instead of 3. I was leaning towards 4, like rounding it up to a 4 when I was kind of in the middle, but I think in the end I'm gonna round it down to a 3. I just don't know if this is my type of fantasy. I was kind of trying to say that before, and I don't know if I did the best job, so I might cut part of my earlier clip out, but I like more like, and I've also realized like cozy fantasy isn't really my thing either. Like I've tried a lot of cozy fantasy, and I've tried a lot of fantasies like this where it's more, I don't know, like slow. I don't even want to say more political, because I do like political fantasy, but I think I'm more like action adventure. Oh gosh, if I had like chocolate on my face. I just had an Almond Joy, so Lord, it's not even that early. It's like 9:30, but it feels like it's 7 in the morning right now. I don't know why. Anyway, so I don't even want to say like I don't like political fantasy, but I feel like I like more action adventure, and like really action adventure. Like I want a lot going on. I want a lot with the magic system. I want a lot with the mythology of the world. And I'm not saying that this is like super heavy with like culture, which I really enjoyed. And I really liked this second book was more like a look at what it's like to be like a leader. She has all these council members, and I felt like in the first book we barely interacted with them, and we did interact with them more in this book, but it still wasn't enough for me. Like, you're supposed to be like, these are supposed to be like your best friends ever, and I think there's 12 of them, and I'm like, there's just too many. I wish there was less of them, and we saw more the interpersonal relationships between each one. And then she gets like 12 more in this book. Like, she is a council member for somebody else, so she gets 12, and so there's like 20, well, not including the 2 people. Anyway, I don't know. There's a ton of characters, and we like barely see them. And I'm like, okay, we were supposed to be forming this like intimate relationship, and I just wanted more interpersonal character relationships, because that's my shit. And so in the first book, there's this really cute romance between Terasai and Sanjeet. Sanjeet's barely in this book. I was so mad. I was like, our sweet cinnamon bun Sanjeet is not here. And she like, okay, spoilers, I'm gonna put this on the screen for this one little section. She like low-key cheats on him, and I was livid. Like, later on they like make up, and like their fight is had like off off page. Like they have this fight and then they make up like 200 pages later, but they don't even, like they don't really have relationship development. They just like make up. It was silly. But yeah, she like smooches this other dude and then she's like, oh, but I wasn't in love with him, so it's fine. And I was like, okay. So I didn't really like that. That was silly. And the dude she's like hanging out with, like, didn't matter in the end. Like, I don't know, it was silly. So yeah, I didn't really like that. Wish there was more interactions with the characters. And the big thing of why I lowered this to 3 stars is the plot was like not what I thought it was going to be at all. Like, I thought Homie was going to the underworld in this book, and she does, but it's in the last like 40 pages. Like, I thought that was going to be what this whole book was, and it really wasn't. So that was, like, I wanted more plot. Like, there wasn't really a plot. I feel like this was a series of conversations. Oh. My fiance went to the bathroom. Anyway, this is a 3.5 stars. I am ultimately a little disappointed. I was hoping to enjoy this a little bit more. I wanted more action, adventure, fun stuff, but I can also fully admit that this is probably partially a me problem because this just isn't like my type of fantasy, I guess, if that makes sense. So some of this is on me. I feel like a lot of people would enjoy this more than me if they're, you know, more into less plot-based fantasy and more like, I don't know, what goes into the dynamic of being a leader and I don't know, I feel like it was kind of a character study of Terasai, which again, I did really like because I like characters, but I think I'm learning about myself is I like more character interactions and seeing that develop characters. And this had character interactions, but it was so many people that it never really felt like we were really developing anything. If that makes any sense. I hope I'm making sense. Anyway, hopefully I can edit this into something that's making sense. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I had a lot of fun doing it. I hope you had fun watching it. And let's see, I think my ranking is the Carrie Maniscalco book, Kingdom of the Feared, is bottom. And then this one is in the middle. And then All of Our Demise, way up top. I might raise my rating because I technically put that as a 4.5, but I might just put that as a 5 because I've just been thinking about that book ever since I finished it. I loved it so much. Anyway, hope you have a great day. Peace out.